Constable Timothy C. Pomeroy, Middlesex County, 1829. Constable Charles Richards, Port Robinson, 1854. Constable William Pope, London, 1891. Constable John R. Davy, Cornwall, 1892. Detective Henry H. Fair, London, 1892. Constable Robert Rankin, Chatham, 1893. Constable William Lindsay, Homer, 1894. Constable Michael Tooley, London, 1898. Constable William Boyd, York County, 1901. Constable James Barron, Hamilton, 1903. Provincial Constable William Irving Jr., Webwood, 1904. Constable Archibald Pow, Woodstock, 1907. Chief John A. McCarthy Jr., Stratford, 1913. Constable Matthew Hamilton, Stratford, 1913. Constable William Rourke, Coburg, 1915. Detective Frank A. Williams, Toronto, 1918. Sergeant Samuel J. Arneal, Kingston, 1919. Constable George Armstrong, Nipigon, 1919. County Constable Albert C. Springstead, Wentworth, 1919.
Chief Angus J. McClellan, Port Arthur, 1920. Constable Richard A. Beard, Napanee, 1921. Constable Reginald Pryor, Hamilton, 1921. Constable William M. Holloway, Guelph, 1922. Constable Joseph Truman, Thorold, 1922. Constable Fred Lefebvre, North Bay, 1923. Sergeant John Urquhart, Cobalt, OPP, 1923. Traffic Officer John E. Waddell, London, 1925. County Constable Everest Laframboise, Essex County, 1925. Constable Frederick Rains, Hamilton, 1925. Temperance Inspector Thomas H. Constable, Cochrane, 1926. Constable Charles W. St. Charles, Madoc, 1926. Traffic Officer William O.K. McGilvery, Department of Highways, Toronto, 1927. Traffic Officer Lee W. Metcalf, Department of Highways, Grimsby, 1927. Traffic Officer Andrew McKay, Department of Highways, Newmarket, 1927. Traffic Officer Hiram O'Callaghan, Department of Highways, Kempville, 1928. Constable Norman F. Maker, Peterborough, OPP, 1928. Constable Albert E. Fisher, Toronto, 1928. Detective William R. Clark, Hamilton, 1929. Traffic Officer Miles Campbell, Department of Highways, Ottawa, 1929.
Constable Thomas I. Kehoe, Bancroft, 1929. Traffic Officer Fred Bingley, Department of Highways, Hagersville, 1929. Sergeant Thomas Kirk, York County, 1930. Constable James A. McNichol, Crowland Township, 1930. Constable Roy A. McQuillan, Toronto, 1930. Constable Blair C. Brown, Trenton, 1931. Constable John F. Montgomery, Westboro OPP, 1931. Constable Albert J. Nault, Sudbury, 1931. Chief John W. Burden, Strathroy, 1931. Constable Charles Heffron, Brampton OPP, 1932. Constable Joseph De Ferrari, Toronto, 1932. Constable Russell Lemon, Kitchener OPP, 1934. Constable Colin C. McGregor, St. Thomas, 1934. Chief Thomas McCann, East York Township, 1934. Constable Edward McMaster, Toronto, 1935. Constable Edward Knox, Toronto, 1935. Constable George E. J. Lewis, Sarnia, 1936. Constable Orval E. Story, Owen Sound OPP, 1936. Constable Robert C. Malik, Canadian National Railway, 1937. Constable George E. Horan, Belleville RCMP, 1937.
Sergeant Frederick Davidson, Sudbury, 1937. Constable David D. Beckett, Windsor, 1937. Constable Bartlett Smith, Stanford Center OPP, 1937. Constable Robert D. Eddington, Warren OPP, 1938. Constable Donald C. Sherville, Hamilton OPP, 1938. Detective James H. Watson, Toronto, 1938. Constable Elmer A. Shepard, Kirkland Lake, OPP, 1939. Constable Frederick R.T. Blitcher, Port Credit, OPP, 1939. Constable Alfred J. Ferguson, Brockville, OPP, 1940. Constable Harold H. Dent, Rockland, OPP, 1940. Constable Donald L. Pickell, Mimico, OPP, 1940. County Constable Harry Fordham, Elgin, 1942. Constable John W. Scott, Toronto, 1942. Constable John Moyes, Peterborough, 1942. Chief Thomas Espy, Pembroke, 1943. Constable Charles F. Hayner, Toronto, 1943. Constable George R. Vanderveer, Sarnia, 1944. Constable Robert W. Duncan, Bowmanville, OPP, 1945. Detective Thomas Stoneman, Ottawa, 1945. Constable Robert A. Wright, Toronto, 1945.
Constable Francis A. Graham, Windsor, 1947. Constable Douglas Reynolds, Chatham, 1947. Constable Merritt C. Gray, Kingston, 1948. Constable George Yulee, Brampton OPP, 1948. Constable James B. Henderson, Kingston RCMP, 1948. Constable Reginald G. Morden, Little Current OPP, 1949. Constable Edward Terrell, Sudbury, 1949. Constable Jerry Dalt, Sudbury, 1949. Constable Cecil Holden, Toronto, 1950. Constable Frank Hare, Port Dover, 1951. Sergeant Joseph R. Battersby, Toronto, 1951. Constable Millard A. Brennan, Kingston, 1951. Sergeant of Detective Edmund Tong, Toronto, 1952. Detective Sergeant James Priest, Toronto, 1952. Corporal Harold T. Shaughnessy, Port Corbin OPP, 1953. Corporal Henry Gilchrist, Tilsonburg OPP, 1954. Constable Kenneth Lennon, Etobicoke Township, 1954. Constable George Constantino, Ottawa, 1954. Constable Ernest Paul, Coppercliff, 1955. Constable John A. Behan, Perth, OPP, 1956.
Constable Louis R. Durant, Markham Township, 1956. Sergeant Claire J. McGillen, Peterborough, 1957. Constable Philip H. Delarue, Matheson, OPP, 1957. Constable Peter R. Seaborn, Kenora, OPP, 1957. Constable Henry J. Harper, Gananoque Way, OPP, 1957. Constable Ronald Pitt, Morrisburg, 1957. Constable George W. Smith, Windsor, 1957. Corporal Herbert M. Smart, Toronto RCMP, 1958. Constable Maurice Melanchuk, Toronto RCMP, 1958. Constable George H. E. Ransom, Aurelia, RCMP, 1958. Constable Glenn F. Farrell, Aurelia, RCMP, 1958. Constable David M. Perry, Aurelia, RCMP, 1958. Constable Willis J. Jacob, Barrie, OPP, 1958. Constable Calvin R. Fulford, Ear Falls. Constable Dennis J. Wistanley, Stamford Township, 1962. Constable Frederick J. Nash, Metropolitan Toronto, 1962. Corporal James S. McDonald, Pembroke, OPP, 1962.
Constable David R. Gregory, Hamilton, 1962. Constable Thomas J. Black, Woodstock, 1962. Constable Harley Hyland, Sandwich East Township, 1963. Constable Jeffrey Armstrong, Ottawa, 1963. Constable Arthur T. Truman, Metropolitan Toronto, 1963. Constable Patrick C. Armstrong, Powassan OPP, 1963. Detective Kenneth J. Evans, Metropolitan Toronto, 1963. Detective Sergeant John H. Bassett, Metropolitan Toronto, 1963. Constable Walter E. McCauley, Guelph, 1964. Constable Alexander M. Proden, Dutton OPP, 1964. Sergeant Laurier C. Cannell, Sudbury, 1965. Constable Ronald F. Webster, Toronto Township, 1966. Constable John R. Mackey, Rockcliffe OPP, 1966. Constable Edward G. Holdsworth, Whitchurch Township, 1966. Constable Thomas J. Emery, Downsview OPP, 1966. Constable James I. Hamilton, Listowel OPP, 1967. Chief Retired Cully F. Rocher, Listowel, 1967. Constable Gerald F. Mills, Whitchurch Township, 1968. Constable Peter J. Kirk, Hawkesbury OPP, 1968. Constable Samuel E. Enkenman, Sebringville OPP, 1968.
Constable Bradford E. Brown, Sudbury OPP, 1968. Detective Sergeant Lauren J. Chapatis, Peterborough OPP, 1968. Corporal James Smith, Peterborough, 1968. Sergeant John C. McMurray, Hamilton, 1968. Constable Robert C. Carrick, Sandwich West Township, 1969. Constable David Goldsworthy, Metropolitan Toronto, 1969. Sergeant David Tuckey, Ottawa, 1970. Constable William R. Rogers, Petrolia, OPP, 1970. Constable Stephen H. Schultz, Brantford, OPP, 1970. Constable Mark L. Goulden, Trenton, 1970. Constable John C. A. Rivera, Oakville, OPP, Constable Donald H. Lewis, Metropolitan Toronto, 1972. Detective Douglas T. Sinclair, Metropolitan Toronto, 1972. Detective Michael Irwin, Metropolitan Toronto, 1972. Constable Claire L. Lackey, Little Current, OPP, 1972.
At least it's better. Last year it was under the thing. Okay.
So you're going to be double the audio on that, so you're going to hear you on one side, the name's being read on the other side, and as soon as you're ready to go straight to that audio, over this way, that'll be mine.
Okay, got it.
Constable Leonard G. Slater, North Bay, 1973.
So just give me the thumbs up when I can start talking.
Sudbury, OPP, 1973.
Corporal Evan B. Gilmore, Spanish OPP, 1973. Constable Luciano J. Disfon, Niagara Regional, 1974. Constable Gerald A. Thompson, Hempville OPP, 1975. Constable Maurice R. J. Chatterson, Forest OPP, 1975. Constable Gary B. McDonald, Forest OPP, 1975. Detective Ronald G. Sprua, Peel Regional, 1975. Constable Lee E. Wilson, Metropolitan Toronto, 1975. Corporal Donald R. Irwin, Kitchener OPP, 1976. Corporal Ronald E. Lee, Dowling OPP, 1976. Constable Paul G. Gosling, Metropolitan Toronto, 1976. Constable David C. Kirkwood, Ottawa, 1977. Sergeant Ronald E. McCann, Collingwood, 1977. Constable John S. Kuznier, Thunder Bay, 1978. Constable
It's okay.
William I. Seward.
Just remember when they're done reading, there's going to be bands and music that's going to go loud.
Constable James L. Bigley, Trenton, 1978. Constable John Lau, Kingston, 1978.
Are you making sure that no one's coming down the pathway? Yeah, because that family just came down the pathway.
Oh, there's two people on the other side.
Okay.
I was told not to make sure no one.
Okay, but if you see them coming through too, you want to hurry them out.
Okay.
Just because they're going to bugger up Roger's shots.
Right. Thank you.
Constable George H. Bennett, Aurelia, OPP, 1980.
Constable Michael W. Sweet, Metropolitan Toronto, 1980. Constable Thomas Hicks, Sudbury, OPP, 1980. Constable William F. Shores, Dutton, OPP, 1980. Constable Richard M. Verdecchio, Huntsville, OPP, 1981. Constable Kenneth M. Sweat, Ottawa, 1981. Constable Percival B. Cummins, Metropolitan Toronto,
Good morning.
1981. Constable Barry F.
Good morning and welcome to Queen's Park in Toronto, Canada. It is Sunday, May 4th, and we are here for the 15th annual Ontario Police Memorial Foundation Ceremony of Remembrance. This ceremony honors all fallen officers in the province of Ontario, of which there are 254. Today we add an additional name. Behind me you'll hear that they are reading the names of all fallen officers, which start in 1804 to 2013.
Constable Holden H. Shedra, Peel Regional, 1982. Constable Russell O'Connor, Ottawa, 1983. Constable Bruce K. Crew, Goderich, OPP, 1983. Constable David W. Utman, Nepean, 1983. Corporal William F. McIntyre, Toronto, OPP, 1984. Constable Douglas F. Tribling, York Regional, 1984. Constable Dwayne B. Pukela, Peel Regional, 1984. Constable David A. Dunmore, Metropolitan Toronto, 1984. Constable William J. Grant, York Regional, 1984.
Constable John G. Ross, Woodstock OPP, 1984. Constable Vernon L. Miller, Matheson OPP, 1984. Constable Richard J. McLaughlin, Spanish OPP, 1985. Constable Donald C. Campbell, Kincardine OPP, 1985. Constable Mario J. E. Tessier, Ottawa RCMP, 1985. Constable Randall F. Skidmore, Cobeconk OPP, 1986. Corporal Maurice R. Levoy, Little Current OPP, 1986. Constable Stephen J. Pizzell, Niagara Regional, 1988. Constable Hugh G. M. Lynn, Metropolitan Toronto, 1988. Constable John R. Grigofsky, Niagara Falls OPP, 1989. Constable Thomas J. Cooper, Grassy Narrows OPP, 1991. Constable Brian J. Hutchison, Ottawa RCMP, 1991. Constable Scott W. D. Rossiter, Ingersoll, 1991. Constable Andrew B. Gordon, Madoc, 1992. Constable Jeffrey Pelosi, Niagara Regional, 1993. Constable Richard E. Nysted, Minden OPP, 1993. Constable Joseph J. McDonald, Sudbury Regional, 1993. Constable Jean J. A. Deforge, Castleman OPP, 1993. Constable Richard M. Jean, Castleman OPP, 1993. Constable Albert S. Taylor, Nakatchewanin First Nation, 1993.
Constable Todd E. Bayliss, Metropolitan Toronto, 1994. Constable John W. Knight, Metropolitan Toronto, 1994. Constable Kenneth Y. Roy, South Porcupine OPP, 1995. Constable Michael W. Gula, Niagara Falls OPP, 1996. Constable Thomas P. Coffin, Midland OPP, 1997. Detective Constable William D.J. Hancock, Toronto, 1998. Constable David R. Nicholson, Waterloo Regional, 1998. Detective Constable Keith A. Badger, Caledon, OPP, 1998. Sergeant Richard T. McDonald, Sudbury Regional, 1999. Constable Charles Mercier, Niagara Falls, OPP, 1999. Constable James C. McFadden, Chatham, Kent, OPP, 1999. Sergeant Margaret J. Eve, Chatham, Kent, OPP, 2000. Constable Laura J. Ellis, Toronto, 2002. Constable Paul Neuter, Walpole Island First Nations, 2002. Constable Allan Kuzmich, South Simcoe, 2002. Constable Philip R. Shreve, Renfrew, OPP, 2003. Constable John P. Flagg, Kingston, OPP, 2003. Constable Christopher Garrett Coburn, 2004. Constable Tyler L. Boutillier, Grenville, OPP, 2004. Constable Michael J. A. Sydock, Port Credit, OPP, 2004.
Constable Andrew J. Potts, Bracebridge, 2005. Constable John C. Atkinson, Windsor, 2006. Constable Donald J. Y. Doucette, Sault Ste. Marie, 2006. Constable David Muncy, Huron OPP, 2006. Constable Robert J. Paquette, York Regional, 2007. Constable Allan Hack, Elgin OPP, 2009. Constable Eric Chapnick, Ottawa, 2009. Chief Superintendent Douglas E. Coates, Ottawa RCMP, 2010. Constable James Ochakowski, Peel Regional, 2010. Constable Vu D. Pham, Huron OPP, 2010. Sergeant Ryan Russell, Toronto, 2011. Constable Garrett Stiles, York Regional, 2011. Constable Jennifer A. Kovac, Guelph, 2013. Constable John Zivchik, Toronto, 2013.